When we assess witnesses in a workplace investigation, we need to look beyond a simple question: do we believe this person or not? Human testimony is complex. What a person remembers, how they describe events, and how they respond during an interview can be influenced by many factors, including memory, emotions, personal experiences, social pressures, and cultural background. One important principle for investigators to understand is that a person can be completely honest and still provide information that is inaccurate. A witness's intention to tell the truth does not always mean that their memory or interpretation of events is correct. Let's first consider the honest but mistaken witness. These are witnesses who genuinely believe their account is accurate, but some details may be incorrect. This happens because human memory is not a perfect recording of events. Over time, details can change, certain information may be forgotten, and incorrect memories can become strongly believed. This type of witness can be challenging because their sincerity may make their account appear very convincing. However, investigators must remember that being sincere and being accurate are two different things. A witness can honestly believe something happened while their recollection does not fully match what actually occurred. Therefore, investigators must always compare witness accounts with other evidence, such as documents, digital records, physical evidence, and statements from other witnesses. Another important area is trauma-influenced memory. When people experience highly stressful or traumatic situations, their memory may not always work in a normal chronological way. Some people may remember specific details very clearly, such as sounds, words, or physical sensations, but have difficulty explaining the full sequence of events. Investigators should understand that fragmented or incomplete memories do not automatically mean that a witness is being dishonest. People respond differently to stressful experiences. Some may become emotional, while others may appear calm, detached, or show reactions that do not match what others expect. These behaviors alone should never be used as proof that someone is telling the truth or lying. Investigators must also be aware of the possibility of coached or rehearsed witnesses. In workplace investigations, people often talk with coworkers about what happened before interviews take place. These conversations can unintentionally influence memories and cause people to adopt details from another person's version of events. A witness who gives a very structured or carefully prepared response may require closer examination. However, investigators should also be careful not to assume that preparation automatically means dishonesty. Some people prepare because they are nervous or want to make sure they communicate clearly. The important question is whether the information is supported by independent evidence and whether the account remains consistent. Another challenge is dealing with reluctant or hostile witnesses. Not every person involved in an investigation will feel comfortable sharing information. Some employees may worry about damaging relationships, facing retaliation, or being viewed negatively by colleagues. In some workplaces, people may feel that cooperating with an investigation means betraying their team. A reluctant witness does not necessarily mean an unreliable witness. Investigators need to understand why the person is hesitant and use appropriate interviewing approaches to encourage cooperation. Building trust, explaining the purpose of the investigation, and creating a respectful environment can help witnesses provide more complete information. At the same time, investigators should recognize that organizations generally have the authority to require employees to cooperate with legitimate workplace investigations, provided that the request is reasonable and consistent with workplace policies. Another situation investigators may encounter is the highly confident but inaccurate witness. Confidence can be persuasive. When someone speaks with certainty and provides a detailed account, people naturally tend to believe them. However, confidence does not always equal accuracy. A person may be completely confident in their memory and still be wrong about important details. This is why investigators should avoid giving greater weight to a witness simply because they appear certain, emotional, or convincing. The quality of the evidence matters more than the confidence of the person providing it. Finally, investigators must consider cultural and contextual influences on testimony. People from different backgrounds may communicate differently, respond differently to authority, and have different expectations about workplace interactions. For example, avoiding eye contact may be interpreted by some people as a sign of dishonesty, but in other cultures, it may represent respect or politeness. Similarly, a person's willingness to challenge authority or report concerns may be influenced by their previous experiences and cultural expectations. Language can also create challenges. Words such as often, rarely, a lot, or a small amount may mean different things to different people. Investigators should avoid relying on vague descriptions and should ask specific questions about actions, timing, and circumstances. The key lesson is that witness assessment is not about judging people. It is about understanding the factors that influence human testimony. A skilled investigator recognizes that witnesses can be honest but mistaken, confident but inaccurate, reluctant but truthful, or influenced by circumstances beyond their control. By applying a balanced and evidence-based approach, investigators can assess testimony more fairly and develop findings that are based on facts rather than assumptions.